Suppress democracy. Zimbabwe's call for fresh elections to correct illegitimacy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Rex TV. Zimbabwe finds itself grappling with suppressed democracy as the aftermath of the 2021 harmonized elections continues to raise concerns. Last year's elections were heavily criticized by both electoral observation mission teams and the Southern African Development Community (SADC) for falling short of democratic standards. This video explores the flaws in Zimbabwe's electoral process, the calls for fresh elections by SADC, and the urgency to rectify the legitimacy crisis before the upcoming SADC Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Governments in August. 1. SADC's stance on flawed elections. Even SADC, the regional bloc, expressed deep concerns about the Zimbabwe elections. The SADC Electoral Observation Mission (CM) report concluded that the elections did not meet the revised SADC guidelines and principles of a democratic election. This declaration further reinforced the notion that Zimbabwe's electoral process had fallen short. To addressing illegitimacy, call for fresh elections to rectify the legitimacy crisis. SADC has resolved that fresh elections should be held in Zimbabwe. The decision highlights the regional bloc's commitment to upholding democratic principles and ensuring free and fair elections. The call for fresh elections acknowledges the need to restore faith in the electoral process and the governance of Zimbabwe. 3. Timing of fresh elections. The urgency to hold fresh elections in Zimbabwe has gained significance as SADC plans to host an extraordinary summit of heads of state and governments in Zimbabwe in August. To address the extent of illegitimacy, it is crucial for the fresh elections to be conducted before this summit, ensuring a legitimate representation from Zimbabwe. For path to restoring democracy, the upcoming fresh elections in Zimbabwe present an opportunity to restore democracy and rebuild public trust in the country's electoral system. It is imperative for the elections to be conducted in a transparent, inclusive, and credible manner, adhering to international standards and principles of democratic governance. In conclusion, Zimbabwe's suppressed democracy necessitates urgent action to address the flaws in the electoral process and restore legitimacy. The call by SADC for fresh elections highlights the regional commitment to democracy and the rectification of the electoral crisis in Zimbabwe. As the country heads towards the extraordinary SADC summit in August, the upcoming fresh elections hold the key to rebuilding democracy and fostering a more inclusive and transparent political system in Zimbabwe. Watch this space for further updates on the road to restoring democracy in Zimbabwe.